guys, we are Sparkle and Bubbles.
Yes. Who is sparkling? Who is bubbles?
Well,
Do we actually have to define?
Who is Sparkle?
Yeah.
Well, we will see.
Or perhaps it's going to change over time.
Perhaps, yeah.
Depending on the conversation where it goes. Let's keep that open.
Let's see who is Sparkle or who is Bubble, or if we are both together at the same time.
Actually. Does it have to be defined?
First question. So welcome. Today we are going to talk about
Women.
Yeah, and men.
And men.
And our visibility or invisibility. Yeah. So we do have here a little pot with some questions, and we are just going to pick a question and see what comes.
I know, and I think through the question that would be interesting for our viewers to get to know us. All right?
Our values, our core values actually.
I know, and what it leads to in our real life.
Yeah, and hopefully to inspire you as well, our dear listeners. So thank you for being here. And let's start. Cécile, you are actually the speaker, professional speaker. So
Shall I start?
Yes.
It was interesting because yesterday I was actually making people speak. So that was a very interesting role.
So you're going to make me speak as well.
I know. So how do you balance self-acceptance and self-improvement in your life? How do you balance self-acceptance and self-improvement in your life? So there are really two axes, the self-acceptance and the self-improvement. Self-acceptance is understanding deeply who we are, what we have, and owning it. Because without owning it, you will always be dissatisfied and it will be really, really hard to find your place in the world. That doesn't mean that you accept yourself and that's it. That's enough. I think so you've got, with the word enough, you've got, am I being enough? But is who I am right now enough for me, for what I want to achieve in my vision? So this is a balance between, do you find yourself enough in comparison to others or to yourself? Personally, self-acceptance, it's something that took me a really, really long time. So I'm going to be 51 at the end of the month. We're recording this video in May 23. And it took me the longest time because I was the victim of what people and what family, society was expecting from me. Well, actually, what I thought society and family was expecting from me. It's only the day where I realized that actually nobody really cares.
Yes, that's true.
And it was really a true freedom. And then I could move on to self-improvement, thinking, okay, there are things that I want to achieve. I may need to gain competence, skills, and reflect as well, having the power of reflection about what happened to me before, how I reacted, what was good, what was not so good. But that's how I think self-acceptance and self-improvement. So start loving yourself unconditionally, and with all that love for yourself, then move on to self-improvement, because this way you become the better version of yourself. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I completely agree with everything. I just have to say that loving ourselves is a bit of a cliche. Somehow, yeah, I think because I personally love as well to not love myself for certain things, and it will give me a path for improvement too. And I do accept actually that I don't love myself all the time, and I can get very angry because I think as women we have rights to be angry, but I try to transcend it and not to become a frustrated, angry woman towards the world, but to contribute and transform this anger to transform it actually to love. So I agree that everything comes back to love, but there is a path.
Oh, it's not an easy path. Self-acceptance, self-love, empathy for yourself is a path. It's something, it's a journey. Again, it may sound cliche, but it's a journey. So what will happen on a journey? Sometimes it's very easy, and sometimes you don't even see the road. And that's called life.
Yeah,
things happen to us, things happen within us, things happen with the people we love deeply or we really don't connect at all with. And this is often a reflection of how we see the world as well.
Yeah, it's just, I think all those self-books we can find, self-help books, all this love, it's too sweet for me sometimes.
Okay.
You know, I cannot relate to that. I think life can be really hard and really tough, and I can be tough too. So.
But the toughness, does it have to be warrior type, and do we have to be little soldiers all the time?
No, we don't have to. I think it's important to actually accept the pain, but not let it overwhelm us in an undefined time scale.
Yes.
So for me, for example, I can get angry or frustrated or disappointed towards myself or others, but usually it's towards myself, honestly speaking. But I won't let it overwhelm my life for so much time. I will give it a time frame.
Okay. The way I see negative emotions today as a 50 plus years old woman is that a negative emotion is just a piece of data. It's only a piece of information. So if physically I put my hand on a hot stove, it's going to burn my hand, right? So what do? Like my brain is going to tell me this is danger, lift it out.
It's survival, actually.
It's pure survival. So a negative emotion is only giving me a piece of information.
But a very useful one.
It's a useful one, but sometimes it's a biased one as well. Sometimes it does not have the value. It's only a piece of information. Okay, I'm angry in that situation. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to stay in that emotion and put my hand above the hot stone and just press it and make myself hurt and miserable? Or can I just spot the emotion? I got the data, thank you very much, and then I move on. And I think with age, that's something I learned to do way better.
So age made you wiser, and you were gaining like distance from your emotion, is that right?
I'm not distanced from my emotion, I just read them and use them in a different fashion.
It's like a database.
It's only a database, but this is a training I got really lucky to find that approach just by simply being curious, and I think this is for your life should include curiosity and keep doing stuff you've never done before.
Oh, definitely.
And just read stuff that does
absolutely.
not belong to your value system. Just always be curious, because sometimes you will fall into, oh wow, this is really life-changing. This is really going to help me live better, be stronger, be more present for the people I love, and also for myself. So this technique that, you spot the negative emotion, you say, I know what you're trying to do, and then choose other paths.
So this is what I meant by transcending it, actually.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So we do have different ways of doing it. We can, or doing in a emotional way. We can create something out of it, or we can also understand it at the best of our abilities. And I think it's very useful, but I think it's important to acknowledge it.
Yes, as it is.
And actually to accept that we have those dark sides.
Is it dark, or is it just simply, some may call it the yin and the yang, and the plus or the positive can only exist because the contrary exists.
So for me, it's really the dark side, and which we will be possibly transforming into light. But this is always this balance, and it's such a fine line.
You know what? I always from what you're describing, I always see a perfect metaphor for life, because life is a heartbeat. And if you look at the heartbeat on a scan, it goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. So is it not just simply how we are wired to be able to...
And this balance which keeps us alive.
Yeah.
So we actually...
But it has to go...
It has to fluctuate, otherwise there is no life.
Well, the heartbeat is flat. What does that mean?
There is no life.
There is no life.
So that's interesting to realize, actually, during this conversation with the heartbeat, the illustration of it.
Yeah.
So we do need both of it to be real, to be humans. So it is not only about focusing on the positive, but it is on realizing that it is the completeness which makes us human beings and individual human beings, because each heartbeat has its own rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And signature, so to speak.
Yeah. And it's also a way of being very careful of not falling into the trap of, hey, look at us on Instagram, we're all really happy and beautiful.
Yes.
This is just
It's
a big
dangerous,
lie.
actually. It's
This is a big
dangerous.
lie.
Yeah, yeah. It makes. I think it makes society very weak.
Yes, yes.
Very weak, and because it's like we are always seeking for this instant recognition,
It's the rush of
instant
dopamine.
gratification. Yeah. So actually, I think mastery, you become a master, really there is no shortcut. You have to train and train and train. It's the same with accepting the emotions. If you don't train it, and if you don't fail, and if you not stand up again and again and again.
So we need to, I mean, it comes down to like micro resilience on an everyday basis. You've got to create situations that are uncomfortable.
Yes, because it makes you stronger.
It makes you stronger, absolutely. So I know that you're doing something every morning. So perhaps you may want to share that, because this is a mini training of resilience.
So for me, for example, I would every morning, I go into the cold water, I swim every single morning, and I haven't missed a day for 2 years maybe now.
Oh wow.
Since
Yeah.
I train. And it's also I do small exercises when I'm hungry. I don't run into the kitchen and eat. I wait. Always a little bit, because I know that this is this wait, this is this time which is so important to make me stronger.
And that's something tangible. That's something that it becomes a routine and it becomes part of you. So when you face a life challenge, because that's
Which
what
will obviously happen.
always happens, then I'm not saying that you will have a calm mindset, but you'll know that there is nothing you cannot deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter the time and the effort it takes, there will be a solution in one way or the other, even if sometimes the solution is not what we think it will be.
You just have to be open-minded. Sometimes we think this is how I'm going to do it, and the gift of life happens in a different fashion.
And I do have a question to you now, Cecile. Haven't you had the feeling that sometimes your biggest, what you perceive disaster, were actually your biggest blessings?
Absolutely. Well, biggest blessing, I don't know. If you don't mind, I'm going to share something quite personal. When I was 21 years old, I had a really, really bad car crash. And I'm basically, on paper, I'm 45% disabled. And trust me, if you meet me on the street, it would be really hard for you to associate disability with me, I think. And I got really lucky, but I was disfigured in that car crash. I lost somebody that I love dearly. Somebody was my first love. So imagine, you're 21 years old, you have everything ahead of you, you have ambitions like that, you're not bad looking, all right? And you're in love, and that love is somebody, you meet, and the love was reciprocated, which is very beautiful after, the teenage time where everything is awkward. And yes, life happened, a life accident happened. And it was hard, but there was always this glimpse of, so I felt anger, I felt a lot of fear, I felt sorrow, I felt overwhelmed, I felt, do I have a future? All those big questions. And at the back, and also, am I going to be loved? Because in the culture I come from, I'm French. You deserve love only if you're good looking, you're smart, you can handle the business life. If love is conditional. So the way at the beginning of this talk, unconditional love, it comes to that. Because you can only recover from everything and anything if you love yourself first. Because if you are convinced that love is conditional, you won't be able to grow out of a difficult situation.
Okay, so have you been able now through this traumatic experience to give another definition to love?
I think, yeah, absolutely. Or how I demand from love.
So actually love is not a given, but there are some demands you are reading into love, is that right?
Yes, so basically I think the love I'm giving and I am receiving now, because it's two ways.
It's a balance again,
It's a conversation, is way more authentic. And this is what I managed to reach.
So can you please explain me, if you can, because it's not easy, what authenticity in love means, and how we can, if for those who are listening to us, how they can actually make love more authentic. Do you have some tips or tricks?
So again, it comes down to know yourself. Really know yourself, explore yourself, who you are.
Yeah, that's the key for everything.
It's the key for everything. This is just, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your values, your passion, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, like how you fit in the world and within. So when I said the world is within yourself, within your family, within your, your community, your work.
The place you have in
the place you have, absolutely. And be very critical of the choices you made, where they the choice that manifested, where they really stem from within, or was it just to please someone or to fit something? To some extent, we all wear a mask, for society, because we have to. You have to a certain extent. But I've seen time and time again, and I saw it with myself. My first husband, for instance, I was basically so scared of being alone, of not being loved. I accepted despicable situation, despicable behavior. That's how far down that. And so not knowing yourself and who you are can destroy you. It's a very risky path. But the day you know yourself and have the gut, because yes, it takes a little bit of courage to say, you know what? And that's called boundaries. It's like, you don't talk to me this way. I do not work for that salary.
So are you actually now that you are going to have 51 years old, 51 years old for that, are you actually now able to just say, and here, stop? And can you say it in such a way that it is heard?
Interesting enough, at the beginning of my 40s, I started to be completely enthralled and passionate about communication. And I think communication is, for the longest time, I felt my voice was not heard. Funnily enough, now I'm helping others to find their own voice. But it was a journey, and that's through that journey that I found my own voice. And yeah, now I just make sure. And it's a two-way thing. Communication is what you say and how you say it.
Oh, definitely.
But you need to know what you want. And I think this is something that is difficult and hard for most of the people. It's very easy to get the skills to be able to speak and be heard, but what is it that you really, really want? That's the tricky part.
And here we come back to knowing thyself.
And self-acceptance, and yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
That was a long answer to a short question, but I think we explored a lot of facets to this question.
Yes, exactly. So shall we try another one?
Your turn.
Can you share an experience where you felt proud of being enough?
I think you have to start with this one, Madeleine.
And this comes back to my personality, because I'm so self-critical and I critique everything.
Is it a good one? Is it a kind critique? Is it a discerning critique, or is it a judgment?
I think sometimes it has both. I'm just very honest here. I don't want have any hidden thoughts unspoken, I guess. So I think it's always for me being very proud. Yeah, I know.
Do you want to define pride first, perhaps?
No, I don't want.
Okay.
I just want to say that coming from my personality, I rather say I don't think I ever was 100% proud.
Okay.
It always and I could have done this better, and I analyze it and say, and next time I will say this, and next time I should have done that. So being proud, I'm actually proud now, first of all, of being alive, because this is not a given, and I think I'm proud because I don't talk only, I actually do the actions, and I'm very proud of that.
Walking the talk.
Yes, I have enough of all that I wish I could say it, but I think
Yeah.
you're gonna get it, of people taking us for stupid and just doing lip service. So I'm actually very self-critical, and this is something which won't allow me to be 100% proud of me, because I always see this part which I could have done better, but I accept it, and this is part
Okay.
of me wanting to be excellent.
Okay, so that's the self-improvement.
Yes.
But okay, so now I hear, the way I understood your word is there is a slight dissatisfaction.
Always this, and I use this actually. I use this slight dissatisfaction to improve. So it's actually it's positive, okay? Because it's not. So when it comes to beating myself up, this can happen too. But this is a dark way to
Yeah.
go. So I tend to avoid this one, or at least to realize it and to seek for help if it's necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and what did I wanted to say?
I don't know, perhaps no, because the other thing I was wondering is like, when there is always dissatisfaction,
There's always
how can we feel
like-
happy and content?
Because I can see this and it makes me happy. I say, oh, next time I could do that one better, and I will do it actually. You know?
But that brings joy
Yes, it actually brings a
because there is like a future.
Yes, because I see hope.
Oh, nice.
Because I see hope, I say, wow, and next time, listen, I could do that better, you know? Yeah. And I could bring this detail in, but this is my personality. So I think this also will allow people to don't feel bad when they are not always proud about themselves.
Okay.
Because we can transcend it again.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. So it's profound.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be much more shallow on that
You're
question.
going to answer that too.
Yes. So can you share an experience when you felt proud of being enough? And it comes down to sharing my story of my accident on stage in front of 300 people. Because I felt proud because if you think about a life accident and all the life lessons that you learn, I thought that if that happened to me, all the hurt, the struggle, and I'm talking about 25 years of really deep struggle, like, what's the point? What is the point for me of learning the lessons and then it stops when I go to the grave? So for me, I wanted to transcend in another way this life event and transform that into a gift of inspiration for others.
So thank you for doing that.
And the way I could do it, because that's what I love and I have to match, who I am with my passion, it was through writing a speech. So I don't know if some of you know the platform TEDx, but I was invited as a speaker. Actually, I wasn't invited. I looked to be invited as a speaker. I looked 15 times,
I love that.
because for me that was important.
Yeah, you knew this, you have a message.
I've got to
you
get
have to
them
be seen.
It's not so much me that I need to be seen, but I was proud to be able to articulate my story into a model, into a way that explaining what resilience is. And I was really lucky because I was giving that in Torino, in the Politecnico University. So the room was filled of close to 400 students. And if at that age I could have had those lessons, oh my God, I would have saved so much time and struggle. So I felt proud that day, and I knew that me being there on stage, it was just me being completely vulnerable, and that was enough. So voila.
We have two actually examples of being enough, not enough, while being enough. So I like that. So thank you.
No, and also, now when I'm watching my my speech, it's interesting because I just go, I think I could do something better.
So here we go.
But it's about how can the message land even better. But I am proud of what I did.
Yes, you accept what you did.
I accept, and I also want to think, of myself. Oh my God, I remember when I opened my eyes in the emergency, like the life surviving, because it was really serious what I had. And opening my eyes and thinking, oh my God, how am I going to live? That was me when I was 21 years old, on the 13th of June 1993. I will always remember this date. And being on stage and going back and say, you know, that's why you should be confident in life. Things happen. You have to push, you know, a little bit. You've got to be an actor of your life.
Yes.
You know, you can't just, you know,
Passive,
say,
yeah.
I want that, sit on the sofa and eat a sandwich. No.
So this is where I have really a problem with all those positive thinking and only being, you know, manifesting passively. This is really, I don't believe in it. I think we have to have both.
You need to move things. You need action. It's like, you know, if I want my glasses to move, I've got to push. This is an action. So nothing happens unless you do. And that's really my motto and has been my motto in life forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have time for another questions, you think?
I think we are getting a little bit short on time. So we do have some questions left, but please feel free to pop in the comments or wherever you feel comfortable and tell us what are your questions. It can be really uncomfortable questions too. We are not afraid to share our visions, our different perspectives, but we can also see here that even though it's different, we can relate to it.
Absolutely.
And actually giving a completeness with both sides. So I love that. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
Thank you for inviting me.
And yes, please share your questions and we will be happy to answer them. Goodbye for now.
Bye for now. Ciao.